It generally, the people from California come here because they like it, because you get so much more for your money. But then, the other side of that is there's plenty of people investing in California. There's always a way to figure it out. And then it's the entrepreneur that in me says there's an opportunity everywhere, and it's about cracking the code. And a big part of that, something that I'm just, always talk about, is the team of people you have. And, find the team of people you have. Mm-hmm. And so I wouldn't want anyone in the audience to think, the guys so my dad and his partner, Bob, they've been doing this for 50 years, but they get feedback from all sorts of people, from their era, from my era, and in between, who have vastly more experience than them. I mean, that is like the takeaway here is they don't make decisions without thinking about it and getting feedback from their team, right? Their legal team, their accounting team, the finance team. And it's not just we have one group of people looking at numbers and underwriting and looking at refinancing, and they all know it. We go with a couple different people, and when we take all the data, all the options on board, right, with past people that have helped us be successful. And that boils down to whether you're just starting or if your goal's 20,000 doors in a public exit, great. It's the same kind of. You still need to be surrounded by great people, I believe.
Mm-hmm. So how do you go about finding those people? Because I think that's one of the things you probably work on, and you've said you've built up a team, and especially as you acquire units for the families or the business. How do you go about finding the right people to support your goals?
Well, I think you've got two teams when you're talking about multifamily or commercial real estate, right? You've got your internal team, right? The people that work within the business. Then you have your kind of business to business partners. And I mean, I have just found in multiple countries and multiple markets that if you find a great real estate specific accountant, they are generally connected to a good real estate specific attorney. And if you like one of those guys, you're probably going to get along with both of them, right? Birds of a feather and personality types. And then, they're going to know the lenders, the title agents, the property managers. I mean, you really start with finding that one professional in a market, whether it's a commercial real estate agent or another developer or someone that you're referred to that might be working in Texas, for example. I mean, I know a handful of people that are down in Texas. I mean, it wouldn't be difficult, but I think the more that you engage your own network and you have conversations with people, if you zero in on those professional services, which are going to be critical to your success, everything eventually falls into place.
I say that all the time. Successful real estate investors, whether you're doing it in your backyard or not, the more people and the more people you can reach out to for help, the better you're going to be, whether it's getting a problem fixed or solving a problem that you're trying to figure out. But like you said, if I know someone, I have a handful of friends that I can call in certain areas and say, hey, do you have a good attorney you could refer me to? Do you have a good, agent I can speak to about a sub-market? And, going into it blind makes it a lot more challenging. So, but just using the networks and people and putting a feeler out to get a referral or help or a question answered, that's the name of the game. And obviously, that's where more, people have more success when they're doing something not in their backyard, but being in your backyard and your family and having that relationship. I'm sure that helps a lot, but knowing that you can pick up the phone and make a call probably also helps to figure out a problem if one were to arise.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you, John. And for some reason, I gravitate towards if the answer to the question of who should I go seek out first, I'd say an accountant.
Mm-hmm. Because 100%. I think it's just, people ask, because even on finding deals, right? There's the way that everyone, you have your direct mail and your cold calling and your agents, and you can go online, you can go on the internet. Those are all great. You can go to networking events, but there's other ways too, right? Accountants and lawyers see a lot of stuff. They're huge resources because an accountant sees a lot of transactions just because they're doing the numbers. They may be able to help you because they see that. They also see where your legal documents are coming from. They see it all. Accountants are huge. So if you could have a good relationship or build off, you should use them, to your advantage as a great foundation piece to whatever you're looking to accomplish, because they see a lot of stuff. They see deals that are going wrong. They see deals that are going well, and they can help facilitate that really well. But you got to find the right way to ask the question. When you seek out accountants, or when using an accountant as a pillar to whatever you're looking to accomplish, is there something that you go about or recommend go about when you ask them a question, so you don't just come off as someone asking for something, and more of how I can help you, can you help me?
Well, I learned this lesson the hard way in Australia when I had a small business accountant looking after my small business needs and real estate needs. And then my tax bill came, and, a great year turned out to be not so great. Needed a new accountant. And then went out and started talking to people, and it turns out that my wife's accountant was not only into small business, but more specifically into real estate. And then I had a complex issue with, borrowing money from myself overseas and making sure everything flowed across borders, documented, and not to leave a I undotted or a T uncrossed, right? And so that led me to getting advice from some other groups of people who specified in U.S. and in Australian tax law, and kind of putting a solution together that was agreed to by my accountant. Does that make sense? So that's when accounting and accountants became. It wasn't just about wealth creation. It was also about wealth preservation. That was the trigger point and the lesson I learned the hard way. Then when I moved back to Cleveland, I didn't have an accountant on my team. It was recommended that I use, who the family used. But that guy is great for maybe like where my dad was, and they have this relationship and play golf. But he wasn't right for me because he wasn't as accessible as I wanted. So I networked my way in to some financial advisors and some other consultants who I was being introduced to when I moved back to the right person who's specific to real estate and sort of family business, multi-generation family real estate businesses. And so that's where I landed. We're in the same age group, and we'll have a long relationship going forward.